Hello everyone, welcome to Educate 247 and we bring you the best 50 current affairs MCQs from 24th May to 31st May. Now before we begin, Educate 247 brings you SEBI Grade A 2020 crash course which features around 5000 plus MCQs with concise and crisp content. So you can log on to the website to avail 1000 rupees off on the course. Moving on to the questions. With investments worth $14.67 billion, which of the following country was the top source of FDI for India in the fiscal year 2019 and 20? And the options are A. France, B. Singapore, C. Mauritius, D. Netherlands, and E. Japan. And the correct answer is B. Singapore. Singapore was the top source of FDI into India for the second consecutive financial year, which accounted for about 30% of the FDI inflows in 2019 and 20, and it has surpassed that of Mauritius. In the last financial year, India attracted around $14.67 billion in FDI from Singapore, whereas it was around $8.24 billion from Mauritius, according to the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Moving on to the next question. Who has assumed charge as the Managing Director of India Infrastructure Finance Company Limited? And the options are A. Kunal Arora, B. Alok Peerti, C. P.R. Jaishankar, D. Palash Srivastav, and E. Pankaj Jain. And the correct answer is C. That is P.R. Jaishankar. India Infrastructure Finance Company Limited is a state-owned infrastructure lender, and Mr. P.R. Jaishankar has recently been appointed as the Managing Director of IFFCL for a period of 3 years. He holds a master's degree in technology from IIT Delhi and an MBA in finance from the Delhi University. Moving on to the next question. The central government has approved a sum of rupees 1000 crore for the implementation of the Jal Jeevan Mission in Chhattisgarh. And the options are A. 200 crore, B. 375 crore, C. 350 crore, D. 445 crore, and E. 500 crore. And the correct answer is D, that is 445 crore. The central government has approved rupees 445 crore for the implementation of the Jal Jeevan Mission in Chhattisgarh during the tenure of 2020 and 21. The aim of the mission is to provide potable drinking water on a regular and long-term basis to every rural household of the country by 2020-24. Moving on to the next question. Which state has launched the Mukhyamantri Swaro Yojana to retain migrants who have returned to the state during the lockdown? And the options are A. Uttar Pradesh, B. Mizoram, C. Madhya Pradesh, D. Uttarakhand, and E. Assam. And the correct answer is D. Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Mr. Trivendra Singh Rawat recently inaugurated the Mukhyamantri Swaro Yojana. The aim of the scheme is to retain the migrants who have returned to the state during the lockdown, and the scheme will be widely publicized through public representatives and district level officers for people to avail the maximum benefit of it. Moving on to the next question. NABARD has sanctioned an amount of rupees 1000 crore in credit to West Bengal for the benefits of farmers and poor people in rural areas. And the options are A. 1300 crore, B. 1200 crore, C. 1100 crore, D. 1250 crore, and E. 1050 crore. And the correct answer is E. 1050 crore. NABARD has sanctioned a credit of rupees 1050 crore in the current fiscal to West Bengal for the benefit of farmers and poor people in rural areas. The credit support under Special Liquidity Facility will be extended to state cooperatives, RRBs, and microfinance institutions. NABARD has already disbursed an amount of Rs 720 crore to state cooperative and RRBs. Moving on to the next question. The Asian Development Bank has signed an $177 million loan to upgrade major roads and highways in which state? And the options are A. Haryana, B. Maharashtra, C. Kerala, D. Assam, and E. Nagaland. And the correct answer is B. Maharashtra. The Asian Development Bank has signed a 177 million US dollar loan to upgrade 450 kilometers of state highways and roads in Maharashtra. Under the State Road Improvement Project, two major district roads and 11 state highways with a combined length of 450 kilometers will be upgraded to a two-lane standard across 7 districts. Moving on to the next question. The Reserve Bank of India has imposed a penalty on how many lenders for non-compliance with certain provisions of the directions issued by it on income recognition, asset classification, and provisioning pertaining to advances. And the options are A. 7 lenders, B. 5 lenders, C. 3 lenders, D. 4 lenders, and E. 6 lenders. And the correct answer is C, that is three lenders. The RBI stated that it has imposed a monetary penalty on the Bank of India worth rupees 5 crore, the Karnataka Bank for rupees 1.20 crore, and the Saraswat Co-operative Bank for rupees 30 lakh. The central bank stated that it has imposed the penalty on these banks for the non-compliance with certain provisions related to income recognition, asset classification, and provisioning pertaining to advances. Moving on to the next question. The government of which state has decided to create the Rojgar Setu Yojana in an effort to employ migrant workers? And the options are A. Kerala, B. Madhya Pradesh, C. Haryana, D. Punjab, and E. Uttar Pradesh. And the correct answer is B. Madhya Pradesh. The Madhya Pradesh government has created the Rojgar Setu Yojana to employ migrant workers who have come back to the state amidst the coronavirus lockdown. The government is preparing details after surveying skilled laborers to employ the migrant workers who have come back from other states. Moving on to the next question. Name the app launched by Switzerland to utilize the exposure notification API which has been developed by Apple and Google together. And the options are A. COVID Rescue, B. Prevent COVID, C. Go COVID, D. COVID Pro, and E. Swiss COVID. And the correct answer is E. Swiss COVID. Switzerland has launched the world's first app that utilizes the exposure notification API, which has been developed by Google and Apple. The app is known as Swiss COVID and is currently available to members of the Swiss Army, the civil servants, and the hospital workers. Moving on to the next question. Who is the chairperson of the high level panel formed to recommend reforms in India's drug regulatory system? And the options are A. Sunil Talwar, B. Nikhil Bhatia, C. Rajesh Bhushan, D. Anand Kumar, and E. Raj Singh. And the correct answer is C. Rajesh Bhushan. A high level committee of experts has recently been formed by the government to recommend reforms in India's drug regulatory system so that the approval process can now be fast tracked. According to a recent Union Health Ministry order, the committee will study the current drug regulatory system and submit its reports along with the recommendations to bring the system in line with global standards and make it more efficient. The committee is chaired by Rajesh Bhushan, the officer on special duty to the Union Health Minister. Moving on to the next question. Who among the following has been appointed to a key position on climate change and disaster management in the World Bank? And the options are A. Mohit Raj, B. Nitin Kumar, C. Anant Das, D. Sushant Verma, and E. Abhas Jha. And the correct answer is E. Abhas Jha. Indian economist Abhas Jha has been appointed as the World Bank's practice manager for climate change and disaster risk management for South Asia. In his capacity, Jha will be responsible to nurture, lead, and inspire a team of highly qualified professionals to provide the best solutions for South Asian countries. Moving on to the next question. Which state has decided to offer free online coaching for NEET aspirants from June 15th, 2020? And the options are A. Kerala, B. Andhra Pradesh, C. Tamil Nadu, D. Telangana, and E. Punjab. And the correct answer is C. Tamil Nadu. The Department of School Education, in association with MPs of Technologies, will be offering a free online crash course to government and government aided school students registered for the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test by the Government of Tamil Nadu. The course will be offered in both English and Tamil for the students. Moving on to the next question. Name the AI virtual assistant which has been recently launched by the NPCI to create awareness around its products like FASTag, RuPay, UPI, and Aadhaar enabled payment system on a real time basis. And the correct answer, and the options are A. Info, B. Pi, C. Pay, D. No, NE, deliver. And the correct answer is B, Pi. The National Payment Corporation of India has recently launched an artificial intelligence based chatbot named Pi to create awareness around its products like FASTag, RuPay, UPI on a real time basis. The AI virtual assistant Pi will be available round the clock to help users with access to information on the NPCI products. Moving on to the next question. Who has been elected as the next president of the New Development Bank? And the options are A. Anthony Silanov, B. Roberto Campos Neto, C. Paulo Guedes, D. Marcos Trojo, and E. KV Kamath. And the correct answer is D. That is Marcos Trojo. Mr. Marcos was unanimously elected as the president of the NDB from July 7, 2020, and he will be succeeding Mr. KV Kamath. The Board of Governors of the NDB also appointed Mr. Anil Kishora as the Vice President of the bank. Moving on to the next question. The government of which state has decided to set up a migrant commission to map skills of migrant laborers and provide them employment? And the options are A. Kerala, B. Uttar Pradesh, C. Himachal Pradesh, D. Jharkhand, and E. Assam. And the correct answer is B. Uttar Pradesh. The Uttar Pradesh government recently stated that it will form a migrant commission to identify the skills of the migrant workers and to provide them with employment. The chief minister has also decided to ensure that every migrant worker coming to Uttar Pradesh gets employment. Moving on to the next question. Bank of Baroda has decided to sanction dash thousand crore emergency working capital facility for COVID-19 affected businesses, including MSMEs. And the options are A. 12,000 crore, B. 800 crore, C. 10,000 crore, D. 5,000 crore, and E. 2,000 crore. And the correct answer is C. That is 10,000 crore. The Bank of Baroda has decided to sanction 10,000 crore as emergency working capital facility to COVID-19 affected businesses, including micro, small, and medium enterprises. The BOB chief recently emphasized that extending emergency working capital is the right thing to do by the bank's client so that they can survive in the impact of the pandemic and gradually return to normalcy. Moving on to the next question. The World Bank has approved a loan of $1 million for Pakistan to help the cash-strapped country mitigate adverse impact of the coronavirus pandemic. And the options are A. 350 million, B. 550 million, C. 500 million, D. 400 million, and E. 200 million. And the correct answer is C. 500 million. The World Bank has restored Pakistan's budgetary support after 4 years and has approved a policy of about $500 million to help the cash-strapped country mitigate adverse impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Moving on to the next question. India's gross domestic product grew by dash percentage in 2019 and 20 as compared to 6.1% expansion in 2018 and 19. And the options are A 4%, B 4.1%, C 4.2%, D 4.3%, and E 4.4%. And the correct answer is C 4.2%. The National Statistical Office under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has estimated that India's GDP grew by 4.2% in 2019 and 20 as compared to 6.1% expansion in 2018 and 19, which has been the slowest growth in 11 years. The earlier estimate was provided by various arms of the government was 5% growth in 19 and 20. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following state, along with TriFed and the Department of Science and Technology, has launched a webinar on One Dhan scheme? And the options are A. Madhya Pradesh, B. Rajasthan, C. Punjab, D. Kerala, and E. Haryana. And the correct answer is B. Rajasthan. A webinar on Know Your Scheme lecture series on One Dhan Yojana, Learning for Post-COVID-19, was organized by the Department of Science and Technology along with the Government of Rajasthan in association with TriFed, Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Moving on to the next question. Who is all set to be the next chairman of JP Morgan Bank? And the options are A. Stephen Burke, B. Leo Puri, C. Linda Baman, D. Kalpana Morapriya, and E. Todd Combs. And the correct answer is B. Leo Puri, veteran banker Kalpana Morapia, chairman South and Southeast Asia at JP Morgan, plans to retire after nearly 12 years with the investment banking firm and will be succeeded by Leo Puri. The bank stated Morapia has conveyed a desire to retire, and it also announced organizational changes for South Asia and Southeast Asia and stated Morapia has agreed to stay with the firm until the first quarter of 2021. Moving on to the next question. Which state government is working to develop 800-kilometer roads as herbal roads which will have medicinal and herbal trees on both sides? And the options are A. Kerala, B. Haryana, C. Uttar Pradesh, D. Tamil Nadu, and E. Assam. And the correct answer is C. Uttar Pradesh. The Uttar Pradesh government will develop 800-kilometer roads as herbal roads in the state. With these roads will have medicinal and herbal trees on both sides. Moving on to the next question. Who among the following has launched the India Dispute Resolution Center to provide a paperless dispute resolution environment? And the options are A. Justice R. Bhanumati, B. Justice Jasti Chalmeshwar, C. Justice A.K. Sikri, D. Justice Ranjan Gogoi, and E. Justice Deepak Mishra. And the correct answer is C. Justice A.K. Sikri. Former Supreme Court Judge Justice A.K. Sikri has inaugurated the Indian Dispute Resolution Center, which provides a paperless dispute resolution environment. The e-inauguration has been done, adding that the center offers offline as well as e-alternate dispute resolution facility through its state-of-the-art e-arbitration, e-mediation, and e-conciliation software portal. Moving on to the next question. Which fintech startup has tied up with Visa for innovative payment solutions for small medium enterprises and startups? And the options are A. Go Cardless, B. BitPay, C. Checkout, D. Due, and E. Zaggle. And the correct answer is Zaggle. Fintech startup Zaggle has partnered with payment technology major Visa to launch innovative payment solutions for the SMEs and startups. Under this partnership, both the companies will jointly create solutions for small and medium enterprises and startups to improve productivity, efficiency, and automate processes. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following bank has tied up with MasterCard to develop customized products catering to customers in the underbanked category, including farmers and SMEs? And the options are A. ESEF Small Finance Bank, B. Equitas Small Finance Bank, C. Airtel Payments Bank, D. Paytm Payments Bank, and E. Capital Local Small Finance Bank. And the correct answer is C. Airtel Payments Bank. The Airtel Payments Bank has partnered with MasterCard to develop customized products catering to customers across the underbanked spectrum, including farmers, SMEs, and retail customers. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following states has granted industry status to sports with the main aim of the decision to professionalize sports in the state? And the options are A. Telangana, B. Punjab, C. Mizoram, D. Assam, and E. Haryana. And the correct answer is C. Mizoram. The northeastern state of Mizoram has accorded industry status to sports. The cabinet recently cleared the Sports and Youth Service Department proposal to recognize sports as an industry in the state. Moving on to the next question. The Bombay Stock Exchange has launched eKYC services on which platform to provide for onboarding of mutual fund investors, stockbrokers, and other intermediaries. And the options are A. Piggy Mutual Fund Platform, B. Star Mutual Fund Platform, C. BSC Star Platform, D. BSC Goldwise Platform, and E. BSC Grow Platform. And the correct answer is B. That is the BSC Star Mutual Fund has launched the BSc eKYC services based on Aadhaar and video KYC. It is open for onboarding mutual fund investors initially and will be open to stockbrokers and other approved intermediaries. It will soon issue APIs for stockbrokers and other intermediaries to connect the IT systems to BSC's eKYC system. Moving on to the next question. What is the amount of penalty that has been imposed by SEBI on the National Highway Authority of India for delay in disclosing half-yearly financial results between financial year 16 and financial year 2019? And the options are A. Rupees 1 lakh, B. Rupees 7 lakh, C. Rupees 15 lakh, D. Rupees 50 lakh, and E. Rupees 25 lakh. And the correct answer is C. That is Rupees 7 lakh. The National Highway Authority of India has been penalized with an amount of rupees 7 lakh by SEBI. SEBI has imposed the penalty for delay in disclosing half-yearly financial results between financial year 16 and financial year 19. The penalty has been imposed on the basis of SEBI's listing obligation and disclosure norms, according to which the half-yearly results have to be filed within 45 days from the end of the half year. Moving on to the next question. Name the e-commerce company which has signed an MOU with Karnataka State Mango Department and Marketing Corporation to empower mango farmers to sell their produce online. And the options are A. Amazon, B. Snapdeal, C. Paytm Mall, D. Shopclues, and E. Flipkart. And the correct answer is E. Flipkart. India's leading web-based business commercial center, Flipkart, has signed an MOU with Karnataka State Mango Department and Marketing Corporation to empower mango farmers to sell their produce online. This association will give farmers the genuine necessary market access to shoppers, making a potential income stream during these testing times of the coronavirus. Moving on to the next question. The Ministry of Minority Affairs flagship program Hunar Hath will restart from September 2020. Which of the following themes? And the options are A. Local to global, B. India to world, C. Village to world, D. Globalizing Hunar Haths, and E. Evolution of Hunar Haths. And the correct answer is A. That is local to global. The Ministry of Minority Affairs flagship program Hunar Hath will restart from September 2020 with the theme of local to global. It is a platform for artists from various parts of the country to showcase their art and craft. Moving on to the next question. Name the Manipur's initiative which has been listed by the UN Secretary General Envoy on Youth among the top 10 global initiatives for an inclusive fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. And the options are A. Suraksha, B. Khudol, C. Abhiman, D. Swabhiman, and E. Mayur. And the correct answer is B. Khudol. Manipur's Khudol has been listed among the top 10 global initiatives for an inclusive fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The listing of the initiative among the top 10 global initiatives was done by the UN Secretary General Envoy on Youth. Khudol initiative was launched by an Imphal-based NGO, Ya All. Moving on to the next question. Name the Indian economist who has been appointed as the World Bank's practice manager for climate change and disaster risk management for South Asia. And the options are A. Jagdish Bhagwati, B. Abhas Jha, C. Montek Singh Ahluwalia, D. Kaushik Basu, and E. Bibek Debroy. And the correct answer is B. Abhas Jha. Indian economist Abhas Jha has been appointed as the World Bank's practice manager for climate change and disaster risk management for South Asia. In his capacity, Jha will be responsible to nurture, lead, and inspire a position of highly qualified professionals to provide the best solutions for South Asian countries. Moving on to the next question. Which state or union territory has planned to launch the first of its kind state health register to maintain records of citizens of the state or the union territory? And the options are A. Kerala, B. Karnataka, C. Maharashtra, D. Gujarat, and E. New Delhi. And the correct answer is B. Karnataka. Karnataka is all set to roll out the first of its kind in the country, a state health register that will maintain the health records of all the 6.5 crore citizens of the state. The decision to launch the standardized health repository of citizens has been taken after the COVID-19 crisis, which needed urgent focus on better healthcare for all. Moving on to the next question. The Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange have decided to reduce the annual listing fee by dash percentage for the small and medium enterprises. And the options are A. 25%, B. 20%, C. 10%, D. 15%, and E. 30%. And the correct answer is A. 25%. The Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange have announced that they will reduce the annual listing fee by 25% for small and medium enterprises as it attempts to lower the compliance costs for companies during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Moving on to the next question. Name the decontamination device which has been launched by the startup named Devaditek Innovations to check COVID-19 spread. And the options are A. Cosmos, B. Contain 19, C. Seize It, D. COVID Stop, and E. Lumos. And the correct answer is E. Lumos. To prevent infections of the coronavirus breakdown, Devaditek Innovation Private Limited, a startup company focusing on technology transfer in the areas of medical devices, based in Maker Village, Kochi, has developed a multi-purpose decontamination device called Lumos that can sanitize items ranging from the N95 mask to vegetables by using the UVGI technology. Moving on to the next question. What is the interest rate of saving bond schemes that were withdrawn by the government due to the declining interest rates? And the options are A 8%, B B 8 1.5%, C 6.90%, D 7.75%, and E 7.40%. And the correct answer is D 7.75%. The government has seized the 7.75% saving taxable bond scheme, commonly known as the RBI Bonds or the Government of India Bonds, for subscription due to the declining interest rates, as RBI has lowered the short term lending repo rate, which is currently at 4%. Moving on to the next question. Which state has modified the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Right Acts 2006 recently? And the options are A. West Bengal, B. Arunachal Pradesh, C. Maharashtra, D. Gujarat, and E. Karnataka. And the correct answer is C. Maharashtra. Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Koshari has made certain modifications in Section 6 of the Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Right Act 2006, which is also known as the Forest Right Act, in its application to the scheduled areas of the state of Maharashtra. Moving on to the next question. According to the report titled Children in Monetary Poor Households and COVID 19 Technical Note released by the UNICEF and Save the Children, how many children will be trapped into poverty by the end of 2020? And the options are A. 212 million, B. 578 million, C. 672 million, D. 426 million, and E. 714 million. And the correct answer is C, that is 672 million. According to a report, Children in Monetary Poor Households and COVID 19 Technical Note, which was jointly released by the UNICEF and Save the Children, a UK based non profit organization, the economic crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic may increase the number of children living in poor households in low and middle income countries by 86 million, and which will reach to 672 million by the end of 2020. Moving on to the next question. Name the company which entered into partnership with LIC to distribute its micro insurance products. And the options are A. BTI Payments Limited, B. Hitachi Limited, C. Indicash Limited, D. Vakarangi Limited, and E. Communication Solutions Limited. And the correct answer is D. Vakarangi Limited. It is a technology based company in Mumbai and has entered into partnership with LIC to distribute microinsurance products in unserved and underserved areas through the region. Vakarangi Kendras will also act as a renewal premium collection point for all microinsurance policies of LIC, irrespective of whether these policies have been procured at the Kendra or not. Moving on to the next question. What is the fish production target of India by 2024 and 25 as per the Fisheries Ministry in lakh metric tons? And the options are A 100, B 150, C 250, D 220, and E 190. And the correct answer is D, that is 220 lakh metric tons. The Union Minister of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Giriraj Singh, detailed out the plan on Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana during a press conference. The plan was announced as a part of the 20 lakh crore economic stimulus package in response to COVID 19. It will be implemented for a period of 5 years in all the states and union territories with the objective to enhance fish production to 220 lakh metric tons by 2024 and 25 from the current 137.58 lakh metric tons in 2018 and 19. Moving on to the next question. Name the plan which was a part of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana to modernize the fishery sector. And the options are A. Mitra Sagar, B. Swat Sagar, C. Suman Sagar, D. C. Environment, and E. Swachh Sagar. And the correct answer is B. Swat Sagar. As a part of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, there will be a Swat Sagar plan which is envisaged with the modernizing of the fishery sector, which includes bio-toilets, insurance coverage for fishing vessels, fishery management plans, e-trading, Fisheries and Resources Survey, and the creation of a national IT-based database. Moving on to the next question. The National Company Law Tribunal has approved to sell 50% stake in the ILNFS to which state government? And the options are A. West Bengal, B. Uttar Pradesh, C. Gujarat, D. Odisha, and E. Karnataka. And the correct answer is C. Gujarat. The principal bench of the National Company Law Tribunal has given its nod to sell 50% stake in Gujarat International Financial Tech Co Limited, held by the crisis hit infrastructure, leasing, and financial services to the Gujarat state government for a consideration of Rs 32.70 crore. The ILFS and the state government, through the Gujarat Urban Development Company Limited, hold 50-50 stake in the gift city, which involves construction of a multi-service SEZ and the International Financial Services Center. Moving on to the next question. Which company has collaborated with the Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine in Jammu to develop the RT-LAMP based test for COVID-19? And the options are A. ITC Limited, B. Tata Group, C. Reliance Industries Limited, D. Larsen and Toubro, and E. None of these. And the correct answer is C. Reliance Industries. The Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine in Jammu has collaborated with the Reliance Industries Limited to develop and increase a reverse transcriptive loop meditated isothermal application based COVID-19 kit. Moving on to the next question. Which IIT has developed a magnesium alloy to replace the steel and aluminium in the automobile industry? And the options are A. IIT Gandhinagar, B. IIT Kanpur, C. IIT Delhi, D. IIT Madras, and E. IIT Calcutta. And the correct answer is D. IIT Madras. The research team of Dr. Sushant Kumar Panigrahi, Associate Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering at the IIT Madras, Professor Rajiv Mishra, University of Northern Texas, and KJO, the United States Army Research Laboratory, has engineered a magnesium alloy to replace the steel and aluminum in the automobile industry with a focus on improving on reducing the carbon footprint and increase the fuel efficiency. Moving on to the next question. To boost the Char Dham project to connect holy towns, the Border Road Organization has constructed a 440-meter long tunnel under the Chamba town of which Indian state? And the options are A. Himachal Pradesh, B. Tamil Nadu, C. Sikkim, D. Uttarakhand, and E. Arunachal Pradesh. And the correct answer is D. Uttarakhand. In a big boost to the Char Dham project to connect holy towns of Gangotri, Kedarnath, Yamunotri, and Badrinath, the Border Road Organization has constructed a 440-meter long tunnel under the Chamba town on Rishikesh Tharasu Road Highway in Uttarakhand to help even in times of the coronavirus pandemic. Moving on to the next question. Name the Indian state which starts implementation of solar fence farmland protection program. And the options are A. Tamil Nadu, B. Kerala, C. Andhra Pradesh, D. Karnataka, and E. Gujarat. And the correct answer is A. Tamil Nadu. The government of Tamil Nadu started the preliminary works on implementing the solar fence farmland protection program under the Central Agriculture Improvement Scheme. The aim of the scheme is to protect agricultural lands of districts which have Western Ghats as their boundaries and are at risk of animal attacks. Moving on to the next question. Name the country which has left the open skies surveillance treaty for 6 months due to non-compliance of Russia towards the treaty. And the options are A. Ukraine, B. United States, C. Gambia, D. Kenya, and E. China. And the correct answer is B. United States. The United States has left the Open Skies Treaty for 6 months with effect from May 23, 2020 due to non-compliance of Russia with the treaty. In this regard, the US submitted a notice of its decision to withdraw from the treaty on open skies to the treaty depositories, that is, the Canada and Hungary, and to all other states who are party to the treaty. Moving on to the next question. Name the company which has launched the modified Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana pension scheme recently. And the options are A. Oriental Insurance Company, B. New India Insurance Company, C. Life Insurance Corporation of India, D. United Insurance Company, and E. National Insurance Company. And the correct answer is C. That is Life Insurance Corporation of India. The LIC has announced the launch of the Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana which is a modified scheme for 2020 and will cover all those over and above 60 years. The sale will be available from May 26 for 3 financial years up to 31st March 2023. Moving on to the next question. Name the private sector bank which has partnered with Maruti Suzuki to offer retail financing schemes to its customers. And the options are A. ICICI Bank, B. HDFC Bank, C. CUB Bank, D. Yes Bank, and E. Axis Bank. And the correct answer is A. ICICI Bank. Maruti Suzuki has announced its partnership with ICICI Bank to offer retail financing schemes to its customers. The bank offers a flexible EMI scheme allowing the customers to pay a minimum EMI initially to support them in liquidity stress during the COVID-19 situation. Moving on to the next question. Name the person who has won the New York Intellectual Property Law Association 2020 Inventor of the Year Award. And the options are A. UK Singh, B. Ritvik Krishnan, C. VK Paul, D. Vijay Raghavan, and E. Rajiv Joshi. And the correct answer is E. Rajiv Joshi. IBM Academy of Technology member Dr. Rajiv Joshi won the New York Intellectual Property Law Association 2020 Inventor of the Year Award to honor, and he has been honored for his work in advancing the electronic industry and improving AI capabilities. He received the award through an online interview. Moving on to the next question. The first meeting of the 15th Finance Commission's Committee on Fiscal Consolidation Roadmap was held recently. The committee estimated India's GDP growth to be -6% to 1% in financial year 21. Name the person who headed the committee. And the options are A. Anthony Sarak, B. Ravi Kota, C. N.K. Singh, D. Arvind Mehta, or E. None of them. And the correct answer is C. Dr. N.K. Singh. The first meeting of the 15th Financial Commission on Fiscal Consolidation Roadmap was held through video conferencing and was headed by Nand Kishore Singh. The committee has also estimated that India's GDP growth to be -6% to 1% in the financial year 2021, while the nominal GDP will accelerate to 4 to 5% in financial year 2020 and 21. So that's it for this week. Thank you and happy learning.